Welcome back to Season 2 of Philosophy of the Barber. Today's guest is Stephanie Lawrence, owner of Blank Canvas Salon. Been owner since 2014. She's been a licensed cosmetologist since 2006, and she is a Pulp Riot educator. Now, I'm speaking so quickly, getting through that because this is the second intro that I have recorded with Stephanie. And we spent a whopping 30 minutes having fantastic conversation that I wish you guys could have heard. But I forgot to turn my own mic on. So, I mean, great comments from her, but you got nothing from me. So, take two.
Here we go.
Welcome, Stephanie.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming. So, obviously, we're not going to recreate what we just had, but I do kind of want to go over, once again, your foundation of how you entered the profession, what brought you to it, and how you got to be in the position of a salon owner.
Okay. So back in 2005, my now husband, but at the time boyfriend, Joe, we were working together at a fruit place, a wholesale fruit place. And although a job he could do forever, being a CDL driver, it wasn't really something I could maintain forever. So we were kind of going back and forth. He was pushing on like, what are you going to do? And I was getting irritated. So to make him stop, I was like, I don't know, hair looks fun. And so then he continued like, okay, well, were you going to like look at schools? Or so I did. And about 2 weeks after that, I was enrolled at Michael's in Bedford. And here we are.
Serendipity at its best. I do love a good moment in the hair industry when everything just falls together.
Yeah.
Now, with Joe, I know Joe because he went to my barber school.
He did.
So that's how we got connected in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You currently have a barbershop inside your salon.
Yes.
How did you come to that conclusion? Now, was that a choice you made before Joe went to barber school or after?
After. So everything kind of happened at once. He went to school. We were traveling a lot with Pulp Riot, and we needed to move the salon for space issues because we were just, everyone was busy. We had 6 of us, and nobody could take a new client. So we needed to expand. And with Joe going to barbering school, we thought it was, why not do something like having a barbershop in a salon? So that's where it was born.
And that's a good problem to have for any salon.
I know, right?
Oh no, we have to grow.
Yeah, right.
Now that, as we've seen here at Polish and Proper, going from a smaller space with 3 chairs to a larger space with twice as much room, twice as many stations, twice as much everything, there is definitely a dynamic shift when you go from, dealing with 3 to 4 people to dealing with 5 or 6 people.
Yes.
Even just that difference is
Yeah.
like, all right, we have to like shift and change and adapt. How was it going from your 6 chairs to your 20 chairs?
So I was the only person that didn't realize what a big change it would be. And having, so like you said, we have 20 chairs and then a 2-seat barbershop. And so we went from 6 people, and we have a little over 30. It didn't go super well, and I'm honest about that. I didn't know what to expect, so I was completely overwhelmed. And I just think that, like, when you have a core group, a lot of times the way that you take care of them, when you expand, you can't take care of them that way anymore. And so promising that I could take care of those people the same way, even when bringing new people in, was a difficult promise to fulfill. But I can say we've been open for 3 years in the new location, and it couldn't be going any better. It's just, it was a tough transition. That space is a lot more space, and that's a lot more people. So things have to change, and as a leader, you have to change. But that growth is not always easy.
I don't think any growth is easy.
No. No.
Not if it's real.
Yes.
So the way that you have your salon structured, do you have like a chain of command or a hierarchy or level system where you as the owner are at the top, and do you have like people between you and the newest people?
Yes. So in 2 senses of the word, we have everything from the apprentice program to an assistant program to hourly employee. That's when you get out of school and you don't have clients. We want to make sure you can eat at the end of the day.
That's nice.
And then we go from, if you are at the top of the hourly and you're busy and you want to go to commission, to still have that safety net per se, then you can move to commission, and then from there you can go to booth rental. And that's kind of there's not much else to go unless you're going to open your own place, which is great. We support that. And then recently we started trying to do some type of management system, because that's a lot. I had to look at myself and say, you can't possibly be there for everybody all the time and have a home life and travel. So we have 3 managers. We have a manager for the booth renters. We have a manager for the employees that's on the floor. And then we have an assistant manager that's also our salon coordinator. And the only reason we use the word assistant manager is because we're kind of growing that position for her. I've never worked in a place with reception besides my own place. So I know what a floor manager can do and a booth renter manager can do, but growing the position, because I'm also pretty involved. So yeah, we have like 3 people right now and it's working really well so far, but 3 people that help me manage, because that's not my strong suit.
So it's like creating your own management model that'll fit the type of salon that you're running.
Yeah. I like a hybrid.
And that's great, because it sounds from conversation that didn't air, that you are really trying to offer as many options for people in your salon, no matter where they are in their journey into the profession.
Yes.
Where they'll feel safe and feel comfortable and look forward to coming to work.
Yeah, I think that it's so beneficial to have a hybrid salon where it's difficult, but where you have independent contractors. And more so how I look at that is a lot of times your independents are veterans, in quotes, of the industry, because they've got the years to get the clientele. And then you've got your new people in the industry that are growing. And so to have both of them, if they can both groups can understand that there's a benefit. The new people keep the veterans on their toes in a skill set kind of, you'll fall into root retouchers are easy and foils are easy rather than pushing yourself. And then also when you're new, you don't know all the bad that can happen. So the veterans are there to give you those little tips that, hey, if you do that on the other side of that, you're probably not going to like it. So I feel that trying to incorporate as many things as possible, as many facets in there, is super important for everyone's growth. But also, I hated when somebody had to leave the salon because they wanted to be independent or change the way they're paid or what, I don't know. It was always trauma to your ecosystem. So to me, you want to open your own shop or you want to change the way we're paying you or you want to be independent. I'm good with that. Like, let's make it work because there's 30 other people that really like you, and to just have someone go because it doesn't fit your model, I don't know. I didn't like it.
Well, it's not just a change for the establishment; it's a change for the clientele, where it's like now they have to like find out where you are now.
Yes.
Of course, you'll have your clientele list so you can contact them, but then it's like if they happen to have social anxiety when it comes to like going to a place they've never been before, by themselves, and all that kind of stuff, where it's like you're opening up an opportunity to lose people, because you're making a choice. When you could just, have better communication and be more willing to work together when you're already happy in a spot.
Right. And I understand that there are salons that are set up that are employee-based and their budget is set up on that, and there are places that are set up as booth rental, but for us, we just really wanted to incorporate both because also I don't think because you're independent, you're any farther along than someone who's remained an employee. It's really what works for you and your lifestyle and your personality. I loved being independent. I kind of sucked at the taxes part. So was I really good at being independent? I'd say I was like 75% good at being independent. But so there are people that would be 25% good at being independent, but it doesn't make them not as successful. You know what I mean? So just trying to navigate through that and keep everyone eating and making money and being happy.
Well, I feel like that should be at the core of any business owner's thought process for growing their business or the way they decide to establish it, is having the people that are going to be working there in mind, going, and as well as themselves going, all right, what am I willing to deal with and what am I not willing to deal with?
Right.
Like, how can I make the things I hate to do as easy for me as possible? And that's how I've set up the shop, where I need taxes to be easy.
Yeah. Yes.
I will give up being rich
Yeah.
to make my taxes easy.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
So I don't own this shop to get rich off of anybody. I own this shop so that people have a place to work.
Yes. So many people like look at success as a money thing. Like you're only successful if you've got, I mean, Joe and I talk about all the time that during this time, this last 3 years of owning the salon, we actually were behind on so many payments that we had the police at our house that wanted to auction off our place. I mean, these are things people don't know, and we're far from that now, but you know, we really did, as kids say, grinded. We were grinding because the joy was coming from building a space and a culture for people to enjoy, knowing that in that would then you'd reap the benefits of that. But yeah, in the beginning, there wasn't a lot of money coming in, and that was just something we really believed in. So yeah, the money, although money's important, it's definitely not my core reason for owning a salon, for sure.
Well, I find for any business, it doesn't matter what you're in. Like, I consider money to be like a dog. If you chase it, it's going to elude you, and because it thinks you're playing.
Yes.
But if you ignore it and it's like you do what you're wanting to do as your goal, then the money will be like,
Yes.
hey, you're gonna pay attention to me? I'll come over to you.
Exactly.
And then you have money. And it's like, oh, what's up, money? How you doing?
I feel like that's exactly what happened is we had to go through the learning curve and really building a place people would want to work. And now we are lucky to have a wait list of stylists that want to work there or independents that want to come over. And so that's a really great feeling, especially when you look back and you're like, you know what? We did have some crap to deal with, you know, but and again, it's only been 3 years, but hopefully trending up still, even during a pandemic.
Well, and in your other areas that the places that you worked before, had you ever heard of a salon having a wait list for people to work there?
No. It was always like, please come and work here. Like, we'll give you a sign-on bonus or whatever, and which is great. I mean, that people can, yeah, that's great, but no.
It's oh, wait, that's a thing?
Yeah, even to me, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean you have a friend? We have 3 other people for that one chair that want to work here. Like, it's...
We'll add you to the list.
Yeah. And then and that's a whole other thing is being surprised that people want to work there. Even though you work for it and you like being in it, you know, you're like, I feel like we have a really cool culture that people would want to be a part of. It's still always surprising, but then you also, just because that person's up on the wait list, what if the group of people you have and that person isn't a fit? So you're kind of also trying to make sure that your ecosystem stays where it's at. So that's the other thing that's hard as an owner is, okay, I have an empty chair and I know these people want to be in it, but they might not be a fit, but this person's a fit. So
that was my other thought going, all right, well, when you're dealing with so many people, that's a lot of personalities and they all have to get along at some point or at least have enough respect to, for each other to, I don't know, like coexist. Because it's basically like having a bunch of roommates.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there are common areas.
There are common areas. And we've definitely had our times where we didn't have the right personalities working with each other. And those times are the worst for me. But I do think a big part of my job, and I say it to the humans that are in there all the time, is if you're having a problem with someone, like we're all different. We all have different backgrounds. And that's what makes us super cool. But if you are having some type of communication issue, come to me. And it doesn't mean I'm going to go to that person and say, like, this person said that. But I feel like I'm a good buffer. Like, I can be around and I can kind of buff that out if people let me know what's happening sooner rather than you're getting into this happened and then this happened. But so I feel like people are pretty honest and they'll come to me with their problems and I take action so that I've never had to have even like a sit down with 2 people about you're not getting along or whatever. It's they either work it out or I can buff it out.
Yeah, it's before we become resentful.
Yeah,
let's work on this.
Exactly, because the thing is, at the end of the day, I've realized in the last year that environment and culture is the most important for the success of the salon. So anything that threatens that, we got to figure it out, or you got to go. And I don't want to see anyone go. I love every single person we have there, but that you can't. There are certain things you just can't compromise on.
And that's one of the things that over time we've really learned here at Polished and Proper, where we all have very diverse personalities, diverse interests, different ways of dealing with conflict or collaboration, all of those things. And I've personally had to deal with the fact that I'm a very avoidant person.
Oh, I am too. Yeah.
I'm constantly a scale going, is it worth the possibility of conflict?
Yep.
No? Can I just like swallow it and sit on it? Yes, no, maybe. So I've really had to work on my communication skills with the rest of the people that work here in order to address things before they start to eat at me, before I start to become a witch with a capital B, because it's inevitable. And they realize that too. So we've had to have some hard family sit-down conversations. Yeah. Tears have been shed. Not my fault. But like truths need to come out, and like people need to understand where other people are, because they're not where you are.
Right. Yeah.
And have respect for that. Because, I mean, we have parents, we have singles, we have 21-year-old. Like, we've got people in a range.
Yes.
And we all have to, like, meet together because we're spending an awful lot of time together.
Yes, a lot.
But also respect that life happens. And just because that's not a thing in your life doesn't mean it's not a thing in theirs.
Right. Yeah, I feel like, first of all, the communication word is like my arch nemesis. Oh my gosh. It's something I'm always working on, is my communication.
Relationships.
I have a lot of conversations in my head, and some of them I think are actual conversations, and then they're not. Like, I didn't actually have that conversation, but communication is difficult for me, and a constant thing that I'm working on in leadership. But also, I do feel that there are sometimes people that they just don't want to understand that other people have stuff going on, and you can't really fight that. So making sure that like I'm constantly communicating to everyone, like, let's be easy, but I don't really have to with the group that we have now, and that's ever changing. I mean, you know, in a shop and in a salon, the more people you have, the more interchangeable parts there are. So making sure the people coming in, just at the end of the day, you got to be a good person and understand that not all of us. Like, if you need help with hair, we can help you with that. Anything like that. Your goals, let's help you. But if you're not a good person at your core, you can't have that leeway for other people going through stuff. I find it very hard to break that, to buff that out.
Yes, I like to call that a lack of empathy.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't have that muscle or it has atrophied, there is not a lot of growth available to you.
And you know what I was thinking about, honestly, today was I feel that the people that we have, even if they don't feel that way, are very confident, right? And confident in the sense that if someone's acting maybe down or off or they're quiet, they're not like, what did I do? It was me. Or they're confident in themselves and their relationships in the salon, that I know that I haven't done anything, so I hope this person's okay. And they'll bring it up to me. Is it so-and-so okay today? And normally I know, and I can say either yes or no. Or yeah, maybe they're just quiet, or no, they're not, so it's not you. But I feel that confidence has a big play in it too, because if you're not, and I know a lot of us don't feel outwardly confident, but I just mean in your relationships with people, that if it's a lot of people to get along with, so if you're not confident, then you're always going to be like, that person's going to come for me, or that person, or you know what I mean?
You have to be on the defensive.
Yeah. So thinking of the people, just thinking like, wow, they really are gentle with each other, and that's hard to find.
Well, and I feel like I consider, having 5 to 6 people in a shop to be a lot of people, because, most traditional barbershops are very like 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And, that's a very safe number of people to be able to deal with, because you can, solve things at the lowest level. There's not a whole lot of conflict going on. It's not large enough for cliques to form, because I imagine once you get above a dozen people, that's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, dealing with 5 people, like, I appreciate that number, because I can still, like, everybody has to walk by me before they leave. So it's like, if I notice that there was a vibe off, or that they were really quiet, or, they had a look about them, I can be like, hey,
yeah,
you good?
Yeah, and that's part of our job as owners, is to be perceptive to that too, because that's the thing, is I can tell that by the way someone walks in, if they're okay, or if they're having an off day, or did something, just by the way they walk in, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna pay attention to you today, or okay, wow, you're really happy, like, that's great.
Well, and I actually just had a conversation with one of my people. She was like, how do you notice this thing about me? I was like, Number one, I am a detail-oriented person. I would not be in this job if I didn't care about details.
Yes, true.
But I'm constantly looking at things, and anything, like I'm that person that if I'm gone for a week and I come back and I see my station, and if somebody's touched anything, I can tell.
Yep.
Like it's like mental picture taken of how I left it, and then when I come back, I go, "This ain't right." I'm like that with people and the things I'm around all the time. It's this is not normal. You.
Yeah,
This
and
is something else.
I have to. You'd mentioned like cliques forming, and I think I spent like a good year trying to prevent that from happening. And I know the salons don't have a great reputation, period. So yeah, well, for being cliquey and mean. And I think that once I kind of came off that, like, we don't all have to want to do the same thing. And having a little over 30 of us, and our age ranges from 20 to 60. So, and everything in between. And so kind of stepping off and being like, all right, people are going to have their own little groups within this. As long as everyone's okay and secure that they're not being left out of anything, or I think this is fine. And so, yeah, when you're in the back room, you'll hear a couple girls talking about, someone else's birthday, and 5 of them are going to that birthday, and there's 26 of us or 27 of us that aren't. That's okay. How can you invite 32 people to your small birthday party? So I think once we kind of let that go, like, no, we all have to be this one thing. It's not like that. And it really works out well. Like, everyone has their people, but in the back room or on the floor, everyone is with everyone. Nothing, you don't just stop talking because someone's in the room. And that's the goal.
Well, and that's the thing here is, like, we're okay not hanging out after work. Like, we see each other a lot.
Yeah.
We're around each other a lot. We pretty much know what's going on in their daily lives. But, some of them are friends. Like, they hang out after work, and, like, as long as nobody's, like, feeling neglected or like, oh, well, I guess I'm not part of the group then. As long as nobody's feeling that way, it's like, yeah, okay. Oh, y'all went to El Jimador? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe next time I'd like to go. I'd love to check it out. Like, it's easy.
And I'm that person that's like, if we wanted to be social, I would be like, hey, you want to go bowling or something? But I'm also like that one person that doesn't drink either. So it's like, meh, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all, and I'm a workaholic, like, and so is my husband, which is great.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And neither one of us like feel neglected where it's like, oh, you have to work an overnight? Okay, enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm going to come over here because I've been talking to people all day.
Exactly.
Don't be offended.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like random groups of people go out for a drink, or I went out with 2 girls the other night just because I hadn't really gotten, with the changes in schedules, I hadn't really gotten to see them the way I normally do. So it's, nobody's feelings are hurt. Like, it's not like, why didn't you invite me? It's like, everyone's always invited, but nobody gets out at 5 o'clock you're either out, at 3 or you're out at 8. So us 3 were out at 5. We went out. I don't know. Like, it's that easy, and it hasn't been in the past. So I can appreciate that everyone's secure in where their friend groups lie. And if they're not, hopefully they come to me. But I'm with you. Some nights I'm like, I've been with you guys for 10 hours for the last 4 days, so I'm going to go home.
I'll see you later.
Yes.
Now, how is it with the whole, like, obviously, when it comes to couples working together, just generally speaking, it's a hit and miss.
Yeah.
And, having seen, my barber instructors being husband and wife and seeing them grow as husband and wife, that's a hit or miss.
Yeah.
Over the years, but they've really grown into a really great situation. How was it making the decision that, Joe would be in the same industry as you and then like working under the same roof?
So this is our second go around in an industry working together, and it didn't work out super well the first time. And as of right now, we're not managing together because it is really difficult. We are 2 totally different people with very different styles. And so as for right now, mine has won out. But that's just because of where we are in life. So for us, it's also hit or miss. Like some days, because we still do a lot of consulting at home. He's just not physically in the building. So anything that's going through there, we still talk about. He still manages the barbershop in a way. Like the 2 guys we have in there, you don't have to manage right now, but exciting for them. They're opening their own shop. So we will need some management in there, and Joe will be there for that. But on the day-to-day, the salon kind of takes over, and we also need help at home with multiple dogs and stuff just not getting done. So right now it works better
you're
for
still a
our
team.
marriage. Yeah, we're a team, and we do all the decisions together, but the person that's there every day is me, because I know the salon world well. And right now for the group that we have and what we're doing, the management style works, but I'll go home and be like, okay, my style's not working, so what would you do? Joe's just
having the humility to admit that that didn't work.
Yeah, and I'm a bull, like I need it my way. And then when my way doesn't work, that's when, and I totally get it. Joe's like, well, see, now you want my help, but I already told you. And it's like, he's like, you just had to find out for yourself. And I'm like, yes, we've been married for 14 years, so you know.
You know this.
Yeah, this is nothing new.
And rubbing it in my face doesn't change it.
Exactly. But yeah, so for us, it's also hit or miss. We've had times in there that like, I couldn't imagine us both not being in there. And then we've had times in there that I'm like, we're going to end up not together if we don't figure out how to do this. So we just go with the flow. There are months that he's checking in every day, and there are months that he's not, and we do it at home. So we're the same way, just trying to figure out what works for us and the business and life goals. And so we're always learning as well.
Well, and that's the thing. It wouldn't be any fun if it was just easy.
Right. Exactly. And we went from seeing each other 24 total hours a week because he worked overnights. So the only day we would have from like 4 o'clock Saturday to 4 o'clock on Sunday, and then he'd have to go to bed. So we went from seeing each other 24 hours a week to like full time. We ride in together. We, work together. We ride home together. We eat dinner. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And so finding what works in between that has been our, what we've worked on.
And that's one of those things that's always kind of blown my mind about couples working together in any capacity, is going, I am such a control freak.
Yeah.
That like, and I'm also so easily fixated on things that it's if I'm in fixation mode, I can't have anybody else being in a fixation mode at the same time.
Right.
Like, I need my thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's why my husband and we work well, is because he's very career focused in his career path, which has absolutely nothing to do with me or hair or anything. I go, oh, yay, you know what that is. I don't. I pick up enough to be able to hold a conversation.
Yep.
And then he respects that I am equally as career focused in my stuff, and we respect each other's boundaries, going, that's your thing. I don't know. That's your thing. You got to do thing. Okay, cool. Go for it.
That's great. I know. And I'm a little bit of a brat. Like, I want the best of both worlds. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. So like, I don't want him totally in my world when I'm making decisions, and like, I want these to be my decisions, but I want him to understand, like, when I'm saying I'm doing a 7-1 on, I want him to understand what that means. So I'm like, all right, Steph, you can't talk about hair 24/7 and want to have, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be that.
I mean, as long as you have enough patience, you can eventually get there, because eventually, if you talk about it enough, it's like every customer that's been going to the barber school for years, like, they know what they should tell you.
Yes.
Their haircut should be, like, with your tools and your numbers and all of that. They know the lingo because they've been going there long enough. They picked it up. They can't do it. They can tell you what it is.
Exactly.
So the same thing with talking to my husband. Like, there's a lot of things about internet service and fibers and switches and stuff. Like, I don't know all the acronyms, but I can follow the conversation, and then I'll be like, remind me, is this what this thing does?
Yeah, exactly.
Roughly speaking. He's like, sure.
Yeah, sure, exactly. The sure.
That's all I need.
Yeah, yeah.
So when it comes to the 7-1, it's so is it like this particular shade with a little bit of an ash? Yes.
Yes, good job.
That one.
Sticker. Yes, gold star. But yeah, so blending marriage and especially when you've grown for years in your own independent ways too. He was working down at the produce market in Boston, so that's a totally different world than a salon. And just from working in that world, sometimes easier communication-wise, you can just be like, why the F did you do that? And then you move on. And that is not what you can say in a salon. So it just like, down there you wouldn't go about things the way I do in the salon. So yeah, we had to learn that as well.
There's more finesse involved with people sometimes.
And I'm like a people pleaser to the extreme, to like, I will avoid negative feelings at all costs. Like toxic positivity is, my picture should be next to that. So yeah.
This is not the time to smile.
Yeah, exactly. So I will like avoid conflict, and Joe he wants to like, let's get it done and out, and yeah.
And I mean, that's a nice balance to have. I mean, male and female, like generally what we end up doing anyway is very much like that.
Yeah.
Like guys can have a problem and duke it out, and then they can hug afterwards. And we're like, girls are looking at each other like, how does that work?
Right.
Because that's not what we do.
No, and like stereotypically, like we get mad if somebody like wears the same dress. You know what I mean? And then
does absolutely nothing logically wrong.
No, like you should be better friends because of that.
You should bond over like common interest,
right? That's when people are like, I don't get along with women. I'm like, but you are a woman. Like we're so cool. Don't do that.
I realized this during my bridal tea party was like. I compartmentalize my female relationships. Like, I enjoy having female relationships, but not, like, multiples.
Yeah, I get that.
I like having a female friend in a particular situation and a different female friend in another situation. Right. But that party was the only time they had ever met each other. I was the only connector.
I don't like friend group mixing. It gives me anxiety. If I'm the only one that knows everyone, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to give more attention to like, or they're not going to get along. Or I've always been like, I'm not mixing friend groups. Like, do you want to invite this person? But like you said, at a bridal shower or a surprise party or something, they're all there and you're like, oh God, all my worlds are colliding.
Well, that was the nice thing though, is that I'm the only thing that connects them. So afterwards, they can go back.
Yeah, that's true. You're like, don't mingle. Stay in your...
And, I mean, if they mingle amongst themselves, whatever, as long as, I'm out of the loop, I don't know what's happening, it's fine. Ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very like, I could never picture myself working in a salon because of the things that naturally occur when left unattended.
Yes.
With females.
Yeah, and that's big. Like I've noticed the times that I haven't been as present in the salon, there are more issues to deal with than if I'm present and available every day or most days. And where that nature comes from, I'm not sure, but I appreciate that they'll let me know instead of letting each other know in maybe not the nicest way. So...
Oh, and I feel like the same thing does happen in shops, but it's the key that I mentioned, which is when left unattended.
Yes. Because
that is the absolute worst thing to do. Shops that have several people in them, when they do not have a leader present, will eventually morph into unhealthy things.
Yeah. When people say to me, like, there are two things I get, which is, are you going to expand more, and why don't you open a second location? The second location thing makes my head want to explode because you can't be in two places at once. And management, like, I think that I have a very specific style to, and I think if you ask the girls, they would agree that just it's something unique. So if I can't put that in two places, how will both be successful?
Well, there's a serious difference between management and leadership, where it's like, you don't have to be a manager to be a leader.
True.
As long as there's someone who possesses those characteristics within the group to keep the group on track,
right?
And focused on what their goal is, and so they don't get distracted by everything. Like, that's a born leader. That's a natural born leader. And they can be in the group. They can also be following whoever's managing them. But those people are rare. And when you find one, you're like, come here. Yeah. I love you. Don't leave me.
I don't know how you can be. And I give people credit that can, but I don't know how to not be there every day. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's different.
I feel like eventually, once you get to a certain number of people, it has to be a statistics game.
Right.
It's just that you got to play the numbers, man. Like, get as many people there and, sift through them and try and find that magic gem and be like, all right, well, you're in the rough, but you're a jewel. I'll
Yeah.
take you. We'll figure it out. But being able to see potential in people and see their willingness to want to achieve it,
Yes.
that's nothing pisses me off more than knowing someone has so much ability and yet willfully, continuously choosing to not work towards what they're capable of.
I know.
Like actively fighting against it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people like that. And you're just like, come on, you can do this.
What a waste.
Yep, I know. I
Like,
know.
But that's that control freak in us where we're like, we want you to make good choices, but I can't make you do anything.
Right. And, I come home and I'm like, I am so frustrated because I want to see this person do so great and I just don't know why. And Joe's like, this is going to be your constant struggle, is that not everyone is going to do the things that you think they should do to get from point A to point B. And I'm like, but I can see the path. And he's like, that's great, but they can't. So I'm like,
Yep.
damn.
That's the lesson of the decade of the 30s is learning that you can't control other people.
Yep.
And to accept that.
Yeah.
And go, all right, you're not going to do this? Okay, well, I'm going to go on and do things without you then.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck. If you need help, let me know.
Yep. That's saying it's something like, I'll help you get to where you're going, but I won't carry your bags or something like that. Just, I will help you every step of the way, but you got to have some type of
You need to be invested in you.
Yeah. You got to do it. But I'll be there.
Yeah, and that's what I always try to tell anybody that works here is like from the get-go, I want to know your long-term goals because I want to help you get there, whether it's, working for me for life, which I highly doubt, or, you eventually want to own your own shop or you want to, specialize in a particular area or whatever. It's hey, whatever you want, I want to know about it so I can help you achieve it.
Right.
Whether it's, by giving you a place to grow and learn or by, introducing you to someone who could help you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good at everything.
Right, exactly.
But, I think that there's a lot of situations where when you don't have that communication with your people and that understanding and respect, that's when people up and quit, in quotes.
Yes.
You go, that stuff where you feel blindsided, you go, well, that's disrespectful to you, but also, have you been showing respect to that person by, being interested in wanting to know,
Right.
Whether or not they're happy?
Yeah.
Because if they've come to that breaking point, then you missed something.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree for most people, and then we always have the few that you're like, didn't we just have a conversation that you, we had your goals and we were, literally in a week going to do that, and they just, ghost you, or, they're just gone. You're like, oh, all right, well, cool. But most people, yeah, if you're not, as a leader, that's part, and that's what trying to explain sometimes is, at least for me, once I became a salon owner, and I didn't realize this, my wants and needs are now second. My goal, and not that I can't do the goals, but if it takes me twice as long to get there because I have 30 people who I've promised I'm going to help them, I'm taking them along for the ride. You know what I mean? I'm saying, put your trust in me and come work here. And you want to be, just as an example, you want to be an educator? I want to help you. And then if I ignore that person, I don't help them at all. I can't expect them to want to stay.
Yep.
But if it comes down to them getting the training for being an educator or me doing something, it's going to be them first. And then I'm not saying always put yourself second so you run down and you're not enjoying yourself, but it's your goals. You have to level them with everyone else's goals because
and you can, because our focus is a lot wider, we see a much bigger picture. We can go, all right, well, I could do this in the short term, but this amount of time right now would be better suited for them. And this can wait.
Yes. It's
not going to, make or break whether or not I can achieve that.
Right. Yeah, don't get me I still travel to educate when we are traveling. But there are certain, and without certain things in place, and I guess I'm looking at it differently now because we do have management finally, and so it's a little easier, but to be gone, let's say every single weekend or every week doing something, you just can't focus on everything. So like if I wanted to be an educator that traveled every single week, owning a salon of 30 people is just not the right fit, I think, because it's unfair to me and the goals I want to do, but also to those 30 people that are expecting, to have leadership.
Right.
So
going back to, because, I mean, we didn't explain this to the audience, but you have a 2-chair barbershop in your
Yes.
salon, and Brady Adam, who is a season 1 guest
Trim
on
Reaper.
the podcast. Yes, Trim Reaper is his handle. He is now opening his own shop.
yes, he
Which is a development since I talked to
I
him.
know.
Because, like, we had that conversation. He's like, yeah, maybe one day, but it's not. I'm really happy where I am. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
So that was like, all right, awesome. 2020 is full of surprises.
It totally is. For everyone. I think even for Brady. He found a spot that worked out well for him. It seemed like the stars aligned. So you got to jump on it when it comes.
Yeah.
So, and then we have another kid in there, Brandon, who came up from Salem, Mass to work there and kind of work with Brady. They were kind of close. And so we'll have the opening in the barber shop to take on 2 new barbers. And that's where Joe comes in and we talk about, would it be better to have an employed barber? Would it be better to have a booth rental? Like what would work for the salon? Because he knows the barber world better than I do.
Well, and it's very different. Even going down to like pay scales of what is industry standard for a stylist versus a barber, like even straight out of school.
Yeah.
Very different. Like, I don't understand how it got to be so different because it's like, we'll just talk percentages, generally speaking. Like, from what I understand, 40 to 50% for a stylist is like standard.
Yeah, I would say low to mid 40s is standard. We
Yeah.
do 50% across the board because it's just it's probably close to as high as we can go with the overhead of color and foils and gloves and all that stuff.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, and in your world, it's
like 60.
yeah,
Like, you're, butt naked out of barber school, like freshy fresh.
yeah,
And it just goes up from there. And eventually you have to hit a percentage like 75 or 80 where it's like, all right, well, now you're just a flat booth rent. Like,
yeah.
I'm not giving you anything else.
Right. Yeah. Even the rent is different, but from what I've seen and in our own salon versus like the barbershop down the street, like the barbers pay a higher rent than our booth renters, which always blows my mind because I think of what a girl can make, like what one of the stylists can make off of one color. And I'm like, well, you pretty much have your rent right there off your first appointment. So that always blew my mind too. When I would hear, I'm not saying every shop or every salon is like that, but yeah, I was always like, I don't understand, but it's the way it is. So I don't.
Well, yeah. And, like I've decided to price my stuff, not like off of anybody else who's, who was currently, charging at the time, but really what is reasonable. It's kind of like, figuring out your budget at home going, all right, well, what can I afford for rent? Like rent should be somewhere along, you can afford it with whatever your week's paycheck is.
Yeah.
So that's not how I do it. That's not at all, man. Ooh, that would be expensive booth rent. But for us, it's like, all right, so you can make your booth rent for that day, because I'll break it down either per day or at the week in like a cut and a half.
Yeah, that's great.
You go, like, there's no excuse.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
No excuse to not be able to pay.
Exactly.
And then it's all right, if you want to, have a raise, because as a booth renter, if you want a raise, then that's on you.
Yeah.
Like, you get more butts in your chair and you make more money, right? But there's also the whole, it's such a low percentage standard for stylists, but so many of their services are expensive because of all the time that it takes to do them and the overhead for the chemicals and the supplies. And then barbers are like a higher percentage, but it's also, once you have your tools and your skill, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the overhead.
Right. I know. It's wild. Like, it's just the difference. Like, Yeah. And trying to figure out the differences for me I was like, what do you mean that's what they do down this? Like, I've never, when Joe first put out the, like, I think he said like 75%, knowing nothing about barbershops. I was like, what do you even, I've never even heard of 75%. Yeah, I'm having like heart palpitations. But then like him saying what you just said, like we don't have color and gloves and, you know, all those little like foils and balayage film. And I mean, you can go wild with the things that, that we can get. But yeah, it was eye-opening.
Well, and even more so, like even just tools where it's like, if you're doing a cut and color, you're also automatically doing a styling. Like there's thermal styling involved no matter what.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's also, you know, the overhead for those professional tools because they need to work hard because they're doing it on almost every surface. And there's just a lot more stuff.
I know. There's a lot of stuff in the salon where I'm like, ah. And also, I heard someone say this once, and I do really agree with this, that I think that, at least for stylists, like people can be so predatory. Like we'll buy anything. We're like, that's new. Let me have it. And then like, and no offense, but the Dyson, like this, I love the Dyson personally for like at home care, but that thing cannot make it through a full day of blow dries, even brand new out of the box. It just can't. It dies for us. Like, so I'm sitting there like, we all were like, $400? Who cares? Let's get this blow dryer. And we get it. And then like a month later, we're like, I made it a quarter way through your blow dry and it's off and I can't turn it back on. So it's just.
Does it like overheat?
Yeah. It's like the filter, if you don't clean that filter, but even if you clean it, it's so fine. And I get what it's doing. It wants to save the blow dryer motor, but it's too fine. It just, and it actually leaves out a section of clientele because if they have extremely curly hair and they want like a New York style blowout, you're never going to be able to do that on its best day. So we will just buy, and we're like, that's new, it's shiny, it is expensive, let's do it.
See, you know, the amount that barbershops use blow dryers, it's like perfect for us.
Exactly.
We're not running it for 20, 30 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like 2 minutes tops. And just enough to get things dry. Or like bring the curl back from the puff that we combed it into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big aha moment for us, because we don't deal with a lot of those tools a lot, was like the diffuser. We were like,
right.
Look what it does.
I know. Yeah, it's I want to love it. I like it at home. I like what it does when it works. But yeah, that's what I mean by like we'll just
heavy
we'll go
use
for
stuff.
anything.
Like, and I think that's why some tools just don't translate across the sides of the house. Where it's like you don't understand like how much this needs to be able to take in a day. Yeah, where we're like, I mean, we pick it up maybe 4-5 times a day.
Yeah.
And that's not for long.
Yeah. Runs for like 3 minutes each time. Yeah.
Yep.
But I do want to love it. But here we are.
I will say I did just pick up a 2nd gen one, and I'm not impressed because of the things they took away. Well, some things are nice, some things are not nice.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
So like I got it when it cost $400.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 more for like $360 because they were pink and nobody wanted pink. I was like, I don't care what color. Yep. Nobody's gonna see it. But I just picked up a version 2, and so the big clunky plug is no longer attached.
Interesting.
I was like any other hairdryer has the GFCI like pop thing. It doesn't have one. It's a regular plug. So I was like, win? Yeah. Because I don't have to unplug a clipper charger to plug it into my power strip. That's great. And then they took away, they have like a converter box, like partway up the cord.
Oh, yeah.
It's no longer on it.
Oh.
But the cord is like so much shorter.
Well, is it, because they have 2, right? They have a professional and a consumer one.
Maybe that's the difference.
Maybe.
Like, I've literally bought all of them on eBay.
It's a great dryer. It's just great dryer in short spurts. But it does make it shiny. It does dry faster when it works.
Well, and as somebody who's never done a blowout on anyone ever in my life, I can't relate, but I can understand the concept.
Yes. So yeah,
just doesn't work. But yeah, I feel like Instagram since we haven't covered it in this recording. The ads on Instagram, like especially once you've worked your algorithm to be like, give me all the hair.
Right.
You know, you see all these things, and it's like, oh, this rubbery thing they put over the neck
Yeah.
that makes it so they don't get itchy. And it's like, yeah, but you have to buy how many of those for
Right.
clients per day? Because it's one per client. Touch the neck, you got to disinfect
Yeah,
it.
you're like a neck strip. That's
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, but... And they're like $50 a piece.
yeah.
And I'm like...
And then in the dryer, they start to come apart. That's what I mean.
Aren't they rubbery?
Right.
Like, why would you even have to wash them like that?
I know. Well, like this isn't like the cape part you have to wash for us at least because we have stuff on them. But we have the ones with the rubber, and then I'm like, well, that's no good.
Okay, I haven't even seen the ones that have the rubber attached.
Oh yeah,
That's
sorry.
like-
Yeah, they're attached.
I feel like that would be horrible. But I saw the ones that were like separate. You could
Yes.
put over a cape, and I
Yep.
was like, all right, like. But then I saw the price, and I was like, that doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
I know. That some of the things people come out with, I'm like, that would be really cheap if you went to the craft store and just like got the crafts for it. But okay, $50, I'll give it to you. I don't have to make it myself.
So like, I automatically distrust things. I feel like it's my generation. Distrust an ad when it's on
know.
social media.
I know.
But then when you see it on Amazon months later with multiple brands making it, then it's a little more
Right.
trustworthy.
You're like, oh, okay.
So it's legitimate now. It's not just
Yeah.
from this random place in China.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know, I ordered from that Wish app like 6 Tamagotchis because like I was going to give them to my friends. Still to this day, that was like 2 years ago. Never have I received the
You never will.
Tamagotchis. No, never. I don't know where they went. And honestly, a friend has one now and it looks frustrating, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, sometimes you'll never get it.
Well, and there are some things I find that like pop up on social media that are very trendy. That ultimately I feel like damage our profession.
Oh,
Because they're being marketed and being like, this miracle thing that'll like help you regrow your beard or whatever. And then it's like, but no, like there is a function for that, but it is certainly not for everyone.
yeah, exactly.
And like, you're not telling them what this is really going to do and why it may or may not work.
Yeah. Yeah, the ads are too much for me sometimes. I'm like, first of all, I only thought of that. I didn't actually say it or research it, so I don't know how you found that. But yeah, a lot of the things I see, I'm like, no, like that's just, please don't do that. Even down to like, you know, for us, we have things like Pulp Riot, which is basically a super conditioning semi. And then you have something like Overtone, which is a conditioner with a semi in it, so it seems. And it's just not the same. So like I see ads for like Overtone all the time. And if people are only going to use that forever, great, like go for it. But they use it and then they come in and they want it bleached out and whatever. But I'm like, no, stop advertising this to people because it's wrecking my daily life.
Right? Oh, you almost have to like adjust because you are now going to have to deal with that.
Yeah. It's like, did you use henna? Okay, bye.
Natural henna, because from what I understand, there's now a thing. I didn't know this before.
So, okay, like natural henna, right? Traditional henna?
Not natural, not traditional. Clean henna.
Clean henna is the new one. Okay.
Yes. I'm like,
Oh, boy.
okay.
Yeah.
So I have to throw out everything I learned about henna
Yeah, right?
as
Like
it relates to hair color?
how do I tell which one is which when it's in the, besides bleaching it and having it not do anything or melt off?
Yeah, so unless you're the one that's carrying that line, how are you supposed to know?
I know. You're not. And when we were coming back from quarantine, Joe said it and I was like, that's so right. I forget what we were talking about do you think people are actually going to be honest if they've been somewhere when they come in? And Joe turned around and was like, you guys will have the foil in front of the person of it being like orange and melting off, and they'll still tell you it's virgin hair. He's like, you think people are going to tell you they've traveled somewhere? And it made me laugh because I was like, he's so right. We'll be like, is this virgin? They're like, yes, it's virgin hair. And then we'll be like, how? And they're like, no, it's virgin. And you're like, but you're okay. Well, you can't have it. I don't know what. So,
I feel eventually in that particular situation, I'll just be like, they don't know what virgin means.
you would want to think that. But you're like, virgin as in, have you ever colored your hair? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I've got to go. This isn't working. We're not having an honest relationship, are we?
And there's no trust.
Yes.
Well, and that's kind of how I always have to go about dealing with the public. Like, I've had to do, when it comes to COVID, like, I have to do PSA announcements before 2020. Anytime cold and flu season comes around, it's the, hey, just so you know, as a reminder, we work 2 feet away from your face for about 30 minutes. That means we're breathing your air. We're breathing your spit, probably. So, you know, don't come in when you're sick.
I know.
Because when we get sick, we can't work.
Right? Like, yeah. I'm going to be honest. I feel like our peeps have been super great with it. Like all our clients with COVID, we haven't had anyone like give us a problem about wearing a mask or.
Oh no.
Yeah. Like
we haven't had any of that.
No, I see it all over like the forums and stuff that people are like, my client was refusing and what do I do? And I'm like, none of our people have refused at all.
And that speaks a lot to the type of clientele that people allow in their establishment. Like, I have tailored my clientele. I am a very particular person. It is a mutual decision.
Yes.
Between me and my client that we have decided to work together, because that's how true service takes place, is that both people are participating and allowing it to happen. So if you do not have respect on one side of that, it ain't happening.
Right.
And I have no patience for that.
I don't either.
Which is why I didn't have but maybe like 2 people the whole lockdown ask me for a favor.
Oh, yeah, no one asked me.
Yeah.
I know, and I saw people like, my clients are badgering me. I'm like,
yes.
Mine have not asked once.
I go, that's because they respect you. They know, like, for me, I've got some interesting rules that I, like, am very adamant on with my shop, cell phone policies and all that stuff. Yeah. And I've straight up kicked people out for not respecting them to the point where I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've created a reputation going, when she says something, she means it.
Yeah.
And there is no conversation. There is no weaseling your way. There is no exception unless, like, there needs to be one. So, like, you already know the answer.
Yeah.
Don't ask. Don't bother.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I realized during quarantine I also had a super cool group of humans that sit in my chair because everyone was very respectful. And so, I mean, beyond what I, just what I could have asked for. So, and I remember just seeing people after my clients are asking constantly if I'll go to their house. And I'm like, yeah, no one's asked me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and, everybody who works here has had a different experience because everybody's clientele goes to them for a reason.
Yep.
And their relationship is very unique.
Yeah.
So it's just funny because, as an owner, you'll hear when they're unhappy when it comes to a situation or they're dreading something or whatever. And I just look at them and go, look, you're the one who's allowing this to happen. You have every opportunity and you have the power to make sure that that's not okay and that they know it's not okay.
Yeah. That's a interesting, that's interesting in, at least in the salon world, that at least when I was in school, you're taught to, like, you are in the service industry and you do what they say. Like, you basically take it. You just take it, right? And so if someone's, like, a little rude, you don't want to piss them. And that training went into, like, the salon world, too. The client is number one. You don't upset. You don't want to do a perm, you're going to do a perm. Like, stuff like that. So there is that. I don't know about you, but for me, I never want any of the humans that are in our salon to do anything they don't want, to ever be disrespected. But there is that fine line, I find, with, like, don't be disrespected, but also the pendulum doesn't, I mean, we are service as well. So, like, the pendulum can't swing all the way to the other side where you're like, well, you are lucky to sit in my chair. Like, you can totally be confident. And yes, they are lucky to sit in your chair, but you're also lucky to have them. So, like, that mutual respect.
Yeah.
But it's so, I can find myself even being like, what do you mean you don't want to do this? I had to do it. And then stopping myself and being like, but did you like doing it? No. So you don't, like, finding that line of what's important to teach them to be successful. Like we're never going to, oh, you don't like to clean your chair? Well, that's too bad. You're going to clean your chair, right? But okay.
There's law.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, what's going to make you successful and what's really just going to give you anxiety and wreck your day? So there's that too. And being someone that's been in the industry a while, having to walk that fine line of, like, well, that's going to make you better. That's not necessary. Like, which side to go on. And also again, you never take disrespect. Like people respect you when they sit down. That's first and foremost. But you also can't be a diva or you know what I mean? Because you get into it to also help people. So to think maybe you don't have to help them isn't the right. I don't know. I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
It's a constant balance. Of going, all right, it's not always what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. You know, it has everything to do with how you pitch something. Because that's how respect is. Like, it's not the goal, because that whole road to hell's paved with the good intentions kind of a thing. Like, you could do fantastic things along the way, but if you're still going to hell, you're still going to hell.
Yes.
And the opposite goes where it's like, all right, well, just because you're aiming for heaven doesn't mean you're taking the right path to get there. Like, you need to know that if you're going to correct a customer, you need to do it in a way so that they understand that you're trying to educate them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not that you're trying to belittle them and tell them that they're ignorant.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what like, and the fine line between, at least for us, teaching them that my client didn't show up, I want to charge them the cancellation fee. Okay, well, have you heard from them? No. Do they show up every time? Yes. Well, how about we kind of find out what went on with that person and go from there? Because after you find out what went on, you might not want to charge them. You might. They might have just forgotten. But teaching that too, that like we can't just blindly slap people with a cancellation fee. What if they got in an accident? What if somebody died? Like someone died, their first thought is not to call you. I'm sorry. We would like it to be, but it's probably not. So trying to teach that too. How do you respectfully put your boundaries in? Like if they just forgot, then respectfully, we've got to tell them, well, that was kind of my time.
Well, and that's something that we're dealing with now because COVID has forced us to be completely appointment.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I did appointments all the time for me, but because that was my goal. But for two of my barbers especially, appointments were entirely new to them. So I kind of preach a play it by ear sort of a thing. Personally, for us, like when we have new clients and they no-show, and like for us, it's not just they didn't call within a certain amount of time to cancel.
Right.
Like we never charge anybody if they call and let us know.
We really don't.
Ever.
Either. Yeah.
It's hey, you know what? Life happens. It's all good. We appreciate that you gave us the courtesy of letting us know. Because that way, we now have an opening. Even if it was like 30 minutes before and somebody's like, hey, do you have a cancellation?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Yeah.
But even if it ends up being a no-show, like it used to be, we could, fill it with a walk-in, no big deal. But when it's like we've waited 10 minutes and that's a quarter of your time, now we can't complete a service within the window that we have. And we don't know where you were or anything. Yeah. Like you haven't given us the opportunity to understand that life happened.
Exactly.
So like that's when I'm like, especially with first timers, you go, this is your first impression to be our customer and you're going to no-show us?
Right.
Like no call, no show, no nothing, no email, no Facebook, no nothing. No. Our policy is our policy. Yeah. And you need to respect us.
Yeah. We've actually... So we've never taken deposits before COVID, and we take deposits now. And if you book online, there's no option to not. They have to leave a deposit if it's over a certain amount, which has been great. A lot of people are willing to do it. And so that's been a big thing. But what we have started doing, which these are the things that it has to go through me, like that final decision for anyone who's employed, is if you've got a 6-hour appointment, and we have tried to confirm you we try to confirm through the phone, through our booking system, and then the girls will try on Instagram and however they've actually been talking to the person. And if that person is ghosting them, like this happened this week, on Wednesday, we could not get a hold of this person's 6-hour appointment. She's like, I just don't think she's going to come. We called and left a message saying, if we don't hear back from you by midday tomorrow, your appointment's canceled. And just that goes in their notes. To even have to take it that far is frustrating, but also as an owner, and that's an extreme case. That's for like really long appointments.
That's not typical.
No, that was probably the second time that we've done that ever. But it is something that we've had to look at too, because we're sitting there going, this is 6 hours of someone's time, and you're just not going to show up. And you have an appointment. Like, what is the issue? Just say, I can't make it. It just blows my mind.
Oh yeah. Well, and over time, people have learned. It's a constant education, whether it's for your customers or for the people that work in your establishment. for me, like we started out having like a $10 cancellation fee as like a, little slap on the wrist, like,
Yep.
hey, don't do that. But when I started offering aesthetics options, facials
Yeah.
and treatments, well, those prices, because they take more time, are higher. So it's like somebody's booking a $65 service now, and you're slapping them with a $10
Right.
thing if they don't show up when they've screwed you out of like an hour of time.
Yeah.
You go, that doesn't exactly measure up.
Yeah.
So now it's like, no, you get charged the service.
Yeah.
So if you book $145 service with me that takes 2.5 hours of my day, and you don't show up, you don't call, and you don't anything, yeah, you're out $145.
Yeah. I feel like that's fair.
Because it's our time.
Yeah.
And that's actually how it took 7 years for me to figure this out. But the whole budgeting your time, because when you first open, like, you have time to spend. And you're willing to invest it wherever it needs to be
Yeah.
because you don't have money.
Right. Right.
And that's how I've structured the walk-in versus appointment thing, is you either pay one way or another. Either you pay extra for the appointment, or you're paying extra by waiting with your time.
Yeah.
So now it's an hourly rate, going, what do I want to make per hour? And I go, all right, it doesn't matter what service I am offering. How long am I going to be doing it?
Right.
That's how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
But it took me, like I said, 7 years to get my head wrapped around that, because I was starting to offer things that were beyond a 30-minute haircut.
Right. Yeah. Pricing will forever, I think, be a difficult thing for myself, but also the salon industry, because like there's so many ways. Do you do it a la carte? Do you do it because you have product on top of it? Like, so like a la carte, there's hourly, there's, bulk, like a bulk service. There's so many options, and we reevaluate every year and see if it's working and go from there. And with the policies too, but every year's a little different, I guess, is what we learned this year.
Yes.
Right.
I will say I'm very thankful to my POS system for like allowing everybody to make online stores. Because boy, am I taking advantage of that for the holiday season.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah.
Who knows how long FedEx is going to take to get you your Amazon package.
I know. It's going to be nuts.
And I think that's something that this year has really pushed business owners to be, is more versatile, going, hey, the way that you used to run business, and it was like cash only, brick and mortar, like boom, boom. That's not how you're going to survive into the 2020s.
Yeah, you guys had a big change, I feel like, for not you specific. I mean, you were
The
already
barber
doing
industry.
the barber industry.
It's very cash only, like
Cash only,
traditionally.
walk-ins. It's interesting, the barbers that we've spoken to have really enjoyed the appointments.
Oh yeah, mine have converted.
Yeah. And for us, I always hated if I would walk in and I'd see like only one haircut on like a 7-hour day. I'm like, ooh, like, am I going to get that like anxiousness for me? And so to know that like the barber world was all walk-ins, I'm like, how are you not anxious all day? But because you just know preparing, but at the same time, it's part of the fun.
Well, yeah, it kind of prepares you. Like, I mean, there's great security to be had waking up and seeing your schedule and knowing what to expect that day. That's why my ultimate goal was to be appointment only, because of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And just practically speaking, with the amount of time, like somebody walks in and wants a 2-hour service, I'm like, well, somebody else just walked in behind you and wants a haircut for me after your 2-hour service.
Right.
How can I tell that person that, sorry, you were a little too late.
Yeah.
Now you have to wait 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's unreasonable.
Yeah. So.
But I love waking up and seeing who I'm going to see that day.
Yeah, me
and
too.
looking forward to it and going, yeah, right, I'm going to have great conversations today. But there is something to be said for just like coming in and being like, all right,
What is
bring
the day?
on the day. Let's
Yeah.
see who I'm going to see.
Yeah.
And then it's also a happy, like it's a instantaneous surprise as opposed to a anticipation.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, but I feel like for us at least, not much changed. We actually got a little less cash, and that's come back now. I don't think people care as much, but
Yeah, no.
not much has changed in the way we do it, because we weren't walk-in before. But yeah, it's the 2020s. You still have had to be versatile in the way that we've scheduled, in the way, I mean. And it's hard. It's a tough line. I think in March, like the fear was there, because I remember being like, oh, look at all these funny memes. And one was so accurate. It was like, watching these memes are funny, and then like it gets less funny as you realize it's coming to you, like, and it's coming. So when we came back, it felt almost like a culture shock, or a shock, because it was like, stay home, be afraid, like, this is going to kill your grandparents and maybe you, and
Hunker down.
Then all of a sudden they're like, so we're going to open golf courses and drive-in movie theaters, campsites, oh yeah, and salons and barbershops. And you're like, what? One of these things is not like the other, but okay. And so we came back and we did it like we wore gloves and aprons and all the things they didn't even tell us to wear. And as time went on and we started to realize how much control we had, we just started to do what was good for our space. So like, I'm a big stickler on the masks. That's like my thing. I think that's what it is. But we, when it came to double booking, we started a little before the state said, because we had the space, like we have 3,000 square feet. So we can put people in an empty reception 10 feet apart from each other, where if we were in the space that we were in before we moved, we couldn't do that. So it was hard to walk that line, and I feel like it was for every business owner. Like, but sitting back and being like, what can I accept in my space that's safe? And also safe for, like, the community will feel is safe, because that's a big part of it too. But that's how we had to adapt, was like, okay, we can't double book. We can't have a reception. So how can we go around this and still make sure people are making money?
Well, I found, because, again, for anybody just joining us, we are in New Hampshire.
Yes.
And we have not been hit hard.
No.
Like,
not even close
at all.
Yeah. I think we're like, when I look at the list of states, we're like number 4 from the bottom of like how many cases.
There have been like 50 cases total in Laconia since we started counting, and we have 16,000 people that live here. All right, like that's what we're dealing with. But we are still like mask mandated.
Oh yeah.
But we've had stuff roll out since we first opened May 11th, and then we had new things roll out June 1st. So since the June 1st thing, I noticed that when May 11th happened, there were 2 loud voices.
Yes.
From our industry, on opposite sides of the spectrum, where it was like, there's not enough PPE, there's not enough restrictions, there's not enough things. Yep. And then the other side was like, we can't make any money just doing haircuts. Yeah, I was what we do. That is not everyone in this profession.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it like, so wait, we're like there are over 45 more states that have more cases than us, and we had the strictest guidelines out of the entire country. It blew my mind.
So, but when they rolled out their second wave after those 2 loud voices, it was... logic was noticeably absent from the second wave of restrictions, because some things were laxed and some things were tightened. Yeah. And they didn't make any practical sense. So from that moment on, I can see, knowing the large conversation, why you did these things, but it was to appease people, not to actually be effective. Yeah. To keep people safe. Yeah. Because these things don't keep people safe when you're also letting these things happen.
Yeah, I am so with you.
So I went, logic. We're going to do things and not do things in this shop. And I had a conversation with my guys. I went, look, this is, because I kept them up to date on everything.
Same.
I went, all right, this is how it is. This is what they're expecting. This makes 0 sense. So here's my proposition. And this is something that I would be willing to go to the barber board and argue. Yep. I would be willing to go to the state and argue at the legislature. Like, I will fight for this because it's logical.
Yes.
So you guys can either do what they're saying, or you can do what I'm suggesting. Yeah. But you are your own boss. You are a booth renter. You choose to do it.
So that's the thing, is I'm big on booth renters being independent, because that's what makes it legal, is me not telling you what to do and me not taking any money from you and what like, but so, I mean, well, rent, but you know what I mean? Like
No percentage.
No
nothing like that.
percentage.
Yeah.
But so in this, we kind of negated that because we have 32 people. We kind of said like, all right, at the end of the day, I have to make the decision for the space, but my thing is everybody has to be on board. So we started talking about things. We have 2 group chats. Well, 3. We have a barber group chat, and then we have employed stylists, and we have independents. And I don't love to split it up, but also 32 people in a text, that's a hot mess. So when I put it in the group chats, you could tell that people's fears came out, and then the opposite side of the frustrations came out. And so I noticed very quickly that was going to be negative for the team. So I texted every single person individually the same thing. And our big thing was we started doing all services. And I was with you. The June 1st we did everything to a T from May to June. And then like things like, you had to wear an apron starting in June.
Yes.
Yeah, but
yes.
you didn't in May. And I'm like, this isn't making sense.
We had 3 weeks of not doing this. If this was the difference between getting it and not getting it, guess what? We got it.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So every single person, this was my text to them, was because in June, we still couldn't do services longer than an hour.
Yep.
So I just said, do you feel comfortable doing services longer than an hour? And do you care what your neighbor does as long as they're following safety and sanitation? And every single person unanimously came back and said, yes, I want to do services longer than an hour and I'm comfortable. And no, I don't care what the person next to me does as long as they're safe. And so we just did that every time was, okay, with this section of the regulation, what do you guys, like when it came time to double book, like how are you guys feeling? And we did everything probably a couple weeks before the state was ready to say that was the way they were going to go. But we didn't care at that point. But
Or how about like a lack of provision for children?
I know.
So I just expected that they were never going to come out with anything.
Right.
And I decided to use common effing sense and went, one parent can come in with a child who's receiving a service. Like, they're not going to sit in the waiting area. They're going to be like where the child is. But they're just going to be out of the way of whoever's doing the cut. Everybody's wearing a mask. The child can only come in if they are old enough to wear a mask.
Yep.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I was not about to be like, sorry, we can't have a parent in with a child. It's only, service person and client.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's stupid.
I know.
And then it was like a month or two later, they were like, oh, this provision came out. And I was like, don't care.
Because it's been working. Yeah. We'll let you know. We've been the guinea pigs. It's been working. Yeah.
Welcome to the club. It's fine.
Right. It was like the very first rule when it was like only root retouches and haircuts.
Yeah.
And like we're a big blonding and vibrant salon, so we actually didn't even bring our employees back until they each worked like a day each week in June, so we could keep them on unemployment because we couldn't physically have that many people in the space, we thought at the time. So when they said the root retouch thing, like I was pissed, but at the same time there was a silver lining to that, which was you didn't have to pick and choose who you got in. So like even though the state made it with not understanding why they were making it and we were pissed, we also were like, well, now we get to knock all these root retouches out of the way. And when in June, like 3 weeks later, then we can focus on our blondes because we didn't listen to the hour rule because we felt safe enough. But yeah, it was, we were like, why would we want to see 10 people versus like 4 in a day? But either way, it was just funny because, yeah, we were just
and having 2 months of not being able to see anybody, like, for the barbers, like, because we're given the same service to the vast majority of people. It was the massive wave, like, we had to play catch up. And we were out straight for probably 2 more months.
Right. Yeah.
Before we saw any dip. And even then, it was a very short dip because by that time, summer was in full swing, and everybody's like, "Let's vacation in New Hampshire." This is what happens when we're, near Lake Winnipesaukee, where it's like everybody's here and everyone's spending money.
Right.
So then it was like, all right, now we're busy for summer.
I would say this October is the only month that's been a little like up and down.
October's always our lull,
right? And that's I always say
like
it's the weird month.
Normalcy.
Yes, but
like. An expected thing happened?
Right. I know July, August, September were like record-breaking months for us numbers-wise. And I didn't expect it. Happily, we'll take it. October's more normal, which is fine with me. It's also, like you said, the weird month. Like, you're not close enough to the holidays. You're too far out from, like, back to school.
Right. It's the back-to-school cuts have been done. Everybody's at college, but we're not at the holiday season quite yet.
Yeah. So October's always weird. But, yeah, I was like, okay, well, this worked. good.
I will say that we were not record breaking because we're still capped with how many people we can fit in per
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Compared to what we could with walk-ins.
Right.
Because with walk-ins, it's like as soon as you're done with the haircut, you can get another one going and not have these random windows of time.
Yeah.
That's one thing we've dealt with when it comes to having online appointments available is that it kind of removes the control that we as the barber have to be able to make people go back to back.
Yeah.
And so we end up with between 10 and 30 minutes between appointments
Yeah.
because somebody just decided to pick on the hour rather than on the 15-minute. And then we're like, great, well, I don't have enough time to book another service in that window.
Right.
So now I'm just sitting here waiting for 30
hate
minutes.
that.
So like that's still a problem that needs to be solved.
Yeah. I know, and I don't know enough about our online booking to know if that's even like if you can make it so people can only, do on the hour, half hour.
You
I don't know if
can
that's-
like
Oh, okay.
That's why I made it to be they can book every 15 minutes is because sometimes because our extra time for cleaning
Okay.
window is
Yeah.
like 30-minute haircut normally, so we tack on an extra 10 minutes for that.
Gotcha, yeah.
So it's 40 minutes, but so they can book on every 15 minute of
Gotcha,
the
yeah.
hour. But if they choose to not do that and they're just like, "Oh, noon works for me. That's my lunch break."
Yeah.
Where it's like my last one ends at like 11:15 and you're like
Great.
or 11:20,
Yeah.
which is worse.
Yeah.
And it's like
You're like, and now this is enough time for me to like want to relax.
yeah, it's enough time for me to just be like, "Can I take the dog for a walk?"
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's something we're working through, and we'll see if we can tweak it for Christmas time. But that's the great thing about October is that October 1st for me has always been the red flag of going, you need to order inventory
Yeah.
for the holidays.
Right.
And this is the first year I've been able to actually do it.
Yeah. I know. I feel like
Ever.
our apparel is the order is already in. I'm like, wait, it's not the end of December and I missed all of the holidays.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, wait, I can take advantage of these like deals that our product reps are having
Yeah.
for like gift sets
Yep.
and stuff. And I'm like,
I can focus.
okay. But I mean, like it's full of silver linings in 2020.
Yeah.
What's next for you guys? Like get into the holidays and then for 2021 in hopes of we have a thing that has been, it won't affect you at all, but it'll affect us. They've submitted, the committee has submitted a recommendation to Sununu, our governor, and the health leader in our state to request that walk-ins be allowed again for us
cool.
because literally
Yeah.
the argument is that you can walk into a restaurant and you
I
can walk
know.
into a
grocery
store. You can walk
store.
into literally anything
Yeah.
except for a hair establishment.
It's so weird.
So because of that, they recommended that they allow walk-ins again. But of course, nothing's happening as long as cases are going up. But hopefully in 2021, with things being a little better after flu season, we'll see.
I know.
What do you guys expect to try and work on?
One of the big things that came from 2020 for us and having a kind of lack of education this year, online, there's a ton of education, but we're a big space and we like to host education, but really trying to expand services to everybody, people with extremely curly hair that we are not very good at doing. Stuff like that is my focus, being more inclusive, not really realizing how not inclusive we were with just not having anyone that can do extremely curly hair.
I was so excited when there's a new place that opened in Laconia that does like braiding, all kinds of braiding. And I was like, I can send people to you now.
Yeah, so a big one for me is diverse education, and really making sure that that is a thing within the salon and for the girls and guys that are coming through, getting education on every type of hair, because that is not something, at least in the school that I went to at the time, we were taught at all. So, it's great to complain that you don't have that education like I have for the past 10 plus years, but to do something about it. So that's really a focus for me, is more education and hopefully being able to host a lot of social events for stylists and barbers. Obviously that would be with COVID subsiding a little bit. That's the hope. But and getting that community back, because I think that we've got a great online community right now, but I would like to see it in person. So my big thing is like having the community back and also having diverse education. That's my going to in 2021.
I will say digital connection lacks something.
It does. It does. And I'm going to say it. I didn't think I ever would. I kind of miss hair shows. Just a little.
All right.
Like a tiny, like Orlando Premiere specifically. It's just it's a big one. It's
All right,
fun.
I haven't been to that one, so I'll take
that
your word
one.
for it.
I want to say it's the largest, and it's just always fun.
Because I've been to IBS in New York.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably feel like your mind would be blown at Orlando. It's just so big. You need like a good couple days.
Isn't that usually in September?
It's usually in June, which I don't know. I know.
June.
I don't know why they do that.
Would you in Florida?
I know.
Why would you be June?
But people always want to go to Disney on their off time.
Well,
So
I mean, I have a timeshare in Disney, so
See?
I'd be like, well, my accommodations are done.
yeah, it's Orlando Premiere is, if there's any hair show that I want to go to, it's that one. It's just so much fun and it's big, and so I do kind of miss it. I didn't think I'd ever say that, but I do, just a little.
I will say on the extremely curly hair side of things, like I was frustrated because I don't know, like 5 years ago, I gave myself a dreadlock mohawk, and I did that because there was nothing available to learn about dreadlocks, and like
Yeah.
there's the stigma and like misunderstanding societally
Yeah.
about dreadlocks and whether or not they're clean, which depends on how you take care of it.
Like anything else, right?
So, and it frustrated me that literally looking in my textbook, it says it is one of the most popular hairstyles in the world. And yet we have nothing but a paragraph talking about it in an entire book about hair.
I know. So L'Oreal is, and again, like the conglomerate, right, that everyone hates, which I think that was on our
Yeah, that didn't happen on this one.
part. So L'Oreal is actually working on getting like their own funding into schools to partner with them to bring this like a structured education to everybody that would have diverse education everywhere. We're lucky that we have a lock artist at our place. I know the stuff that she and a lot of other lock artists have dealt with, maybe with the stigma that because you look a certain way, not wearing those or doing them, but I've learned so much from her in just why people wear them and how clean they really are, and just the art of them has been really fun to watch. But so it's exciting because as much as people hate L'Oreal, they have the money to do what they're doing. So they are putting money into it. And the other big thing people can do is the Crown Act, which I don't know if you've heard of. I was new to it. It's basically still in New Hampshire. You can be fired from your job or sent home from school for wearing hairstyles that are not considered, in quotes, appropriate, I would say. And so locks are one of those hairstyles. So the Crown Act is going across the country and trying to pass legislation so that we can get education and we can also protect people wearing their natural hairstyles to jobs. But yeah, so it's the silver lining of 2020 is our industry, I feel like, has picked it up a little bit, right?
Well, holy crap, if the military is starting to allow it, like, come on.
I know. And I look at it from such a like hair is hair, but I've had to take a seat and say it's not just hair. There's a lot of history, right? Like in all different hairstyles that we wear. So no matter where you're from, there's a history to your hairstyle. And so learning those histories was important to do because I was like, it's hair. And it's like, well, people have suffered for certain types of hair. So,
Well, and I think, and there are multiple perspectives on the subject, especially when it comes to locks. Like I had to do my own research while doing my own lock journey. Short though it was, I only had mine for a few months.
Right.
But that's because of like my personal tastes and focus, not because of how it looked.
Oh, no,
I
sure, it
liked
looked
them.
great.
It was like cool.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I had to look up YouTube videos and like people in their lock journey and like things they were like, don't do it like I did it because it was not a good idea. I went to a salon and they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I tried to do it myself and did a bad thing. And like, you know, understanding Rastafarian culture and like what that means religiously to
Yeah.
people and why they do it, and but also how that relates to a world culture of going like there's a reason why I find it so unifying having dreadlocks, because every hair texture and culture can lock.
Yeah.
Like there is not a single type of hair that cannot lock,
True. Yeah.
because if you just don't comb it, eventually it'll lock.
Yeah. Not the way you want it to, but it will.
And that's why dreadlocks in Rastafarian culture are a thing, is because part of their religion is no longer, touching a comb to your head.
Yeah.
And so locks form the way locks form, and it is what it is, and it's part of, their belief system. So that's where when we have a conversation or somebody brings up about like cultural appropriation or whatever, I go, that is a very narrow view of something that you've decided to point at. You're not seeing the
Right.
large picture.
Yeah.
So there is a point in that conversation to have the hair conversation, to go, yes, we can respect where this came from. We can respect the struggles that it's faced and who have faced them. But we can also look forward and go, it doesn't have to continue to be that way.
Yes, I'm with you there.
Like just because this is the way it was doesn't mean it has to be this way in the future.
Yeah. And I think I understand that stuff on another level, and understanding like moving forward with it, right? Like I can understand watching certain people be celebrated for them wearing this hairstyle, and other people feeling like, well, I actually lost a job because I wore my hair that way, but you're celebrated. So the past has never been super clean on that. And so moving forward, I do hope that hair can be something that unites all of like at least one aspect that can unite, and understanding like let's all move forward with it, because there is such a history to that hairstyle in many different cultures. And so I'm with you, like let's move forward with it as a unified group here.
Well, and I think a fair comparison on a small scale, certainly not a historic scale, but like just the difference of celebrating. We'll go with America's Next Top Model. Invariably, there is one person on that show that will get their hair buzzed off, and it is traumatic sometimes. It's whatever, and they're celebrated for going, "You look beautiful with this. It brings out your bone structure. Like you can be a very high fashion model with this," and so they celebrate that. But at the same time, you have a lot of people like myself and people I know and customers of mine where we have short hair, very short hair, for a reason, whether it's style or preference or whatever. And we deal with the being referred to as a male a lot for no good reason other than somebody's not paying attention.
Right.
Like our facial structures, our bone structure, like there is nothing that denotes that we are males other than the fact that we have short hair.
Yeah.
So we deal with that a lot. And I mean, that is tiny.
No, but
minuscule in comparison to a lot of struggles. But it's that's reality. But I should not be upset at that model or that show or anybody there praising that situation because I was treated differently when in the real world, not on TV or something.
Yeah.
They go, it's kind of like people don't have to fail in order for you to succeed.
Right.
Multiple people can succeed, and you can still have a happy life while having a struggle that you had to deal with and adversity, while somebody else not having to deal with that. You could celebrate the fact that they didn't have to deal with it.
Right.
And that means change is happening.
Right. Yeah. I know. It's 2020 has been like you said, silver linings, but it's been a year.
Oh, yeah.
We're in October.
I feel like you and I are that dog in the meme where the whole thing is on fire around it. And we're like, this is fine.
We'll be fine. So when people are like 2021, I'm like, shh, that's what we said when 2019, going into 2020, remember? And
I do recall all the way back in 2016 when people were like that. Because, and this is like having nothing to do with the election. I mean, just like all the celebrities dying.
Yeah, right?
And they're all like, I hate you, 2016.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Every year. It's
Come
just
on, 2017.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm fine with this year. Just don't bring me anything worse.
I'm riding a wave, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got a really good track record of having succeeded and powered through everything so far.
Yeah.
So
Here we are.
I like statistics.
Yeah.
Statistics don't lie. They don't have an agenda.
Right.
So I'll just work on those.
Yep. I'm just going to keep trucking, keep doing what we're doing.
Well, I look forward to seeing what 2021 has for you and the rest of the decade.
Yes, I know, right?
Because let's not pin our hopes and dreams to a year.
Exactly.
So I'm so happy that you got to come and have
Thank you
multiple
for having
conversations with me. I look forward
I'm
to
excited.
seeing everything that you guys have, and especially, you know, seeing Brady being able to grow,
Yeah.
and you guys being so supportive and helpful with him. And I look forward to seeing what Pulp Riot has in the future. And I'm
too.
sorry that we didn't have more time to talk about that on recording.
On recording. Well, we talked about it all.
Check out Pulp Riot, not a sponsor.
Yeah, not at all. Oh, well, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All right, check us out for our next episode next week.